Hello, everyone. Welcome. Sikasem. And the Sikasem air bro. No, send it every Monday, 7 to 9 p.m. Sikasem or High Life Radio. Your boy Patrick Befi, Kwasi Kankam. And the Sikasem air bro. And there, August 18, 2025. And the topic is strong kokra. Obi the can today and the Empire Ebija. Empire Ebija your topic no strong kokra. And the topic the core of critical thinking in Ghanaians abroad and at home. The core of critical thinking in Ghanaians abroad and at home. Today, Kwasi.
And then the Empire
Ebija. Joe. Welcome, Joe. See great show. And then I'm paying Joe. Joe Ghana, so or try a train we. Welcome everyone. Say we share senior Nyama as Ghanaians, African in general, but Ghanaians, ye can as Ghanaians we share Nyama you be honma. I'm say as you use critical thinking, papa. Ye entire dream quite. Patronina, but we share majority of us. You say people on my share in free. Maybe I wo ya and I say maybe I near tia yetiti in two butterfly pet na be a war infant or just so no court to say just a chronic must say be or CB Kumu no cook or cook masia. Office as we such in fearful, but we may the same and dream be brisa. Sas na oma mutu bataba be a bruche diaspora of our office winning yansa. But she ba kwa bruchina community when yama na in change be breeze habia. We shall in suit nyama bia still not this animal is ba patramesa can be by majority of us. We need to come and say in secretary thinking kasi. And that's all we share. We share in Crawford be bria nipa 10. Nipa 8 cars mo be han na near cars 70 regions so say and so obeka so ho yes say you pay say but hu nipa o metaka say me say that etiene your topic no a great topic, the call for critical thinking in Ghanaians abroad and at home. Kwasi kabibika kana fi your mind for my na fi yes starting free on.
Yeah, for us in here for baby I'm free be a chiachamo. Perfins that's in your queen. Senior D and critical thinking, say ofi near woman on in say a same sia, Sankran na sebia, so green a found in himself for the past couple of I guess Busimini July Busimi dear Ghana, Shadantias, the Enka Busian for year dear, but Sans Mississippi at it in same bebre Ibimu say oh and a whole lot of things in ten and I say whom here crambles a dream sa nasa simisia yenyan to us here let's try to connect the dots. Send will be alcohol hospital doctor Busa questions and son who yare and wordrew tieneno wordrew. We have no intent say the before to man Ghana for to for ye na word na ye program you crown yen so ye word. Okay. Ti ene say na DBA no the African History FM. We will be self-conscious and then we would also appreciate who we are as Africans. Then idea ye by idiom team be Thai North Africa, Egypt, other popular places, about Western Africa, about West Africa, so they are near about Ghana. We want to look at Ashanti, the Ashanti Kingdom. We say why the Ashanti Kingdom. The entire Ashanti Kingdom. They say Ghana na we have so many Yawahimfo, and they are Bibri or Ghana. But we heard the Ashanti Kingdom and they became very popular because one, they had an organized military system. Number one, number two. Osha, they rose to power around the 1600s under the leadership of Otumfo Osei Nyudika. And then the spiritual advisor you bring for anoche. ɔne na ye bibia ekoeba sa no mutimi di teacher asanteman. And then you realize that it's answer injurisi abrofo no meka injurisi abrofo na meka British for no omuhu say asante ewo niema bre meka asante aminka Kumasi. We are talking about the Ashanti Empire, the Ashanti Kingdom. So it spread even up to Cote d'Ivoire. There were the Ashantis ruled over there, some northern part of Ghana too. The Ashantis also ruled over there. And for Kumasi. So what happened was that Omuza Santifono wore the golden stool around the 1900s, and Chebiasa of Abevi had the war of the golden stool. And Nona, a member in Adriane ya nana oba ya santo or you so etidina as I say, Memma nam quack on it, dear, and you know ya santo bede. So what is the moral lesson here? So the moral lesson here is even that when we are united, say Ashanti Kingdom na the way they were united, no, you say it the adversary who was the British Empire. Anuma colonize Ghana at that time, that is Gold Coast. But Ashanti to me, any again, Ashanti Kingdom na we are talking about the whole towns Kikabumbe Ashanti Kingdom, no, not necessarily more Kumasi. So there are people who were in the north, they may not be speaking Chi, but they were part of the Ashanti Kingdom. And let it also be known that the Asantis at that time were trading in good. They knew how to export good from Ghana to other neighboring countries. Nasa time when nye broni ne ba be kire ni sisi ni too good. They knew that semi too good na seminania do this temperature na do the melting point. So all those things should tell you that our ancestors were very knowledgeable and they knew what they were doing. And unti yenji die entum oye mamprusi ni oye nkranni oye dagomba ni o. The Ashanti Kingdom is just a test case or is just an example. Yenji die entum. Finally, Niema Kingdom even though it's one of the youngest in West Africa, is because of Abefi leadership etimi emomunya a centralized government. Now Africa bakusem no ahinia the Shonga Empire, the Ghana Empire, Timbuktu, all those places in the Benin Kingdom. They had a centralized rulership and as a government. No more constitution asemsia ibuawa himfie oba bebo wunkru ni obedi wen mabo wunkru no technical on your attorney or your lawyer na afi ahemfo nketwa no mo tina nane nchen no they are the jury. See, all these things no the West learn from us and they polish it in a different and brought it to you as a democracy. So the kind of democracy that we practice at that time is different from what we are practicing today. And it's in development, I because chiche mu bebre, but it me kabo mne ba say even Ghana say ba for India, and let's forget about political party system. Now you a centralized government that it me you free or it doesn't belong to any party. No develop. So today's history, the lesson is unity, embracing our own, and then also, in fact, and so the best you can do for them is to honor them and not to say derogatory remarks against them.
Thank you. Kakrameka Fahoye said now kind of the kinship system, no, the jury, the everything was there. Before even you get to there, he said near Udukro, you will be penny, say Busia penny do case. Na say when you and Jehua, ultimate the call Udukro, and I say, Oheneho, or Henny Dino and Tiasia, and time you notice Santini Honda, and they drew Supreme Court. It was the same systems. Yeah, Nyama didn't mean ye and say, a fool be dear, dear. It's in those systems, no, it mean Juma, and I sense I used to eat different persisting a fool be dear, no, yet they are now more polishing person use my and their money. Thank you so much for that message. And very nice topic, but before then, like, share, and subscribe. Every Wednesday, so yeah, a paradigm shift. Paradigm shift, except be an the amount of information now, you need information earlier. Why, especially financially, why paradigm shift every Wednesday as 4 p.m. to, and that's at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Ghana time. Yeah, one of our own. When you different information, which means money BBB one because here we some information create me use. The be I can say very, very disturbing when you have the right information that we use because when you say this is the right things to me use. It will TB wow. Subscribe to the Patrick YouTube channel. I bet me about more to me. And they also need different information. I say, wow, person will be different. On Yaman Kosoma, it's me change you are dream. I say, go out with me, baby. Share, like, and subscribe. And the topic here, the call for critical thinking in Ghana, Ghanaians abroad and at home. Like I said earlier on, you will be brave or no, you too quite if you say, young answer be from it, but yes, I understand it. It's like specifically the abroad shame. Obu officer anywhere to quanti any the same and change bia my pacho critical thinking a bit dream by majority of us no dream because we share near ya and it will share in some can which means yes ya dream the critical thinking you find juma. See when you look at we share creation na idea nipa ye different from other creations na your mind. So share other to say a one is an yamana. Omo environment, no. Say I say almost stick with it. You cool mom, boy bit me a water na crana sorry. No more books was starting one or ye dear or see obitity one to tea and uncle sua. Ye saying it was we are out of our range. The only time we can come to our range and say you use your mind. And Yankopon at the mind to use you see your mind now, a ma you probably brace a fire and qua. Now she man pass because say you see your mind no ubi edgewadrian no how pa. It's your man yama in the breed me coso. Tienen and every share one can once in the breed. When it comes to critical thinking, to say yeah, kai in because we soldiers, gallant soldiers, and a friend is saying ministers near dinner. Which is animal where chikra and Yamani free tree banner. It was very disturbing. And Yama BBSC. Now, she some amount for free tree now. It's and the first one be share a blind faith and informed faith. Say, a truncate most of the unity number. Blind faith and a friend saying informed faith. Faith itself is not harmful. But blind faith suppresses your friend saying reasoning. There's a clear difference between believing without question and faith growth. You see, blind faith, and that's a faith itself, Nankasam. And yet, bonium, and I say, and yet harmful. But the way I see you soon, and I say the way I see you, but different. And I'm out for a question. Can be about one of my mentors, your friend Bob Prater, they say me can be but the way or no see describe faith cry. Or say faith is an emotional state arising from understanding, not mere belief in the scene. You see, there be out share a description of faith here then and the unseen, believing in on the unseen. There be and this and also faith You see, faith is the ability to see the invisible, right? Now believing in the incredible and receiving what others might consider impossible. That is what faith is. It's a faith, according to Prater, I say based on understanding and trust, not blind acceptance. Because you may be just the Ekaterina the AGD near deco. And I say, sa near deco. You see, faith and yes, sir. I think say because I'm say or see says definition of faith now. So it may change, You see, it's about knowing something something will manifest because of a deep understanding of the way I see it, and how that thing works. Not just wishing. Because we say faith now, come once and I say we are just wishing. No, you see, Mami for when you analogy kakra say I can't just go say me do a brew na me kwa kotwa brew. But say me the brew she forma because I know how a brew works. In so beto so na a brew fu na akwa kodru baby na metimi atwa ne ntino. That is the understanding. That's the faith because me say be the chef forma e dey ametwa brew. Me konkotwa ade foforo. So what I say? But yeah, kind of understanding of faith, is different. I think it goes back to all the religious stuff now. They can't have faith, which is it's not bad. Like I said, if you are doing the faith in a good way and you're handful. But let's see the blind faith part. You see, and I see a GBB just like that. Yen tia see the way I didn't see it, man. But I don't say also tia see it is or say Bible crana will be a ready trainer or can etrain. Into the nipa can no an believing without evidence. Yen question, and Bible says also tia see. You see, that pattern is very, very you. But when you have that informed faith, now you can hana. You just try trust. That's when you start asking questions, believing with evidence, and a reasoning, and a personal experience. You go through your life, it comes into faith. About faith, so what shall you say? Bible says, and one year, ready. I can tell you right now. Obi wo ye community mu e Ghana say believe say Israel was true. Obi say believe class Bible kura nipa na true. So what is the mention? Enti e ma esa na wo thinking ye different kakra. But before say obetimi thinking right, before say critical thinking betimi abam no. I was see you relive from those things now. I was what say faith is understanding of something. And I was saying I didn't see a dear crona wo ye. I was say who say see adwuma. E bi na example na make can unko dua body undua body on you say dem kwa kotwa body. E be dey wetin akotwa body. But the faith now when say me the body I see one ma e betimi nyama betwa no. That is how faith I was say it inform faith and also so we inform faith so e ma gather more information.
Yes.
Answer right? To say they can't come here be plane and answer helicopter yakwa shifom. A shifom na near the started. Oh, see, we live in a different Ukraine and your friend saying the ND being a sea in a way. Yeah, I say encourage. See, I saw some article be about Guy B. Troy, which is a Ghanaian, I think Ghanaian American in the military. And so inform on the experts about the situation. Also, we send 2 questions per. One Adrian Yako say, who say, and yes, aspirate now for cattle. Who say a 2 things, which Miss Anna may dream say, either say a mechanical fault. And I say, make right now, my dream say, you be now call, you can't say how say, what call a hunter, I call. And I be aware when you into a state during the day, trying to be a walk to 2 because I body. Which you bet me I find out on those things. You bet me at by say say yen dream na ye the acquisition name of phobia. I must say yen kwa na sad na timi happen game. So these are how we've been doing our stuff throughout your life. Next time I want to improve, I want to so bisa questions. Inti I say akra afia be kai ho, I say will be bisa question kra na so you arrogant. Will be question kra so you too know. It's the kind of fantasy. I was so fantasy. Nisa would drink. Would the only nipa was so to use to have the catch on the sun was so fun. But it's about time I must say it was start to see free money because a D papa. It's about time I engage you with questions. It's okay to doubt. There are some stuff I also doubting because when to me become being Gemini, just trust any of so share to say, for example, to say questions about tighten. Questions. Sometimes we be questions. We say, "What's the corner? What me answer? What is the channel?" By year, boy, my close young most. Oh, dear, okay. I don't need tight. Why? We have to know. Be a counter arguments. It's okay, and yet these less ones near the Sunday now. So say because you see yes I am so I was see based on those on historical ye niama se ni si ye niama I betimi aboa ama ye free situation na bibi e wo see betimi ehu not just says sometimes we dream what the we are your community no patronye nyina ebi mu the way you see ye niama you see kan ye no ya na ultimate say antiase ni enye bibi bia ye papa bia sa it philosophically no any experience those are the things I was say based on informed faith. What did you especially when it comes to religion, Yahweh cry. Just a question they need to be said cry. I don't know about you, but I can say apart from a Christian book, no, and it's already BPA. It's also my been a kind of social Christopher Casapano. You need more when it comes to religion. You need a Bible. It's not so most of the time. Muslim crowd argument, and that's what discussion. We say we are the corner. You can't even do because all we know is the Bible. But for other religions, when we read wide, it's no more. That's how we have to start doing our stuff. That's how we have to start doing our things based on faith, informed faith. That just blind faith, maybe a suppress it, reasoning, a suppress it, so many things. And my movie cry.
Yep. Correct. Informed faith, which is driven by knowledge. Correct. Yeah. The near a tosubi was nipa biano wherever ignorance becomes a tool of control.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, baby, nipa bebre na so mo hye den nim bibi no esuro ehye muma. Ana esuro hye muma na omuntimi endi omo. And to call Ghana, you see that a lot of people, and I say even Ghana for it to call no, we are so much ignorant about the basic principles of life. And you realize that wherever that there is less critical thinking, obviously ignorance will abound.
Of course.
Oko to say Ghana, your political system, your religious leaders, and your munina ebi. Now, who say obi ye panin pa ba asɛm a ogyina hɔ a ɔka wotumi sɛ nipa wei no ɔnyɛ informed nsɛm a ɔmo ka ne yɛ nsɛm a ɛde ehu nko a ɛna ɛhyɛ nipa mu ɛyɛ nneɛma a ɛntumi nipa kra no ɛnde ne ho wokɔ ka ɔmɛka sɛ you can't question obi bɛka sɛ you can't question God. When we talk about you can't question God, yes, you've not seen God physically, but the God in you is your mind. Wadwene ɛne sɛnea nso bɔɔ bra no sɛ obi na ɛbɔɔ wo so body bi na ball dia then usuban ene oni ye ebede di say onu na ye den onu na ball. And most of the time, you know, yen problem is of we don't want to go deep. Tim ya na ni na ya kind or even Bible we have a group of people called the Bereans. Apostle Paul bano be church Roma. And also be preaching trauma. Almost research you. Why? Omo person we sure say Adiana Apostle Paul Ekano and you foot through no two gomani. Into ignorance and say Adiana si Timbia Edi and you say, oh, Ubia will cramp on Ubina Kunu. Timbia no quani ejinem. Asemesi fear him say, oh, Yena nebi no trans no on yet until no soon I say the ABA Busania. No. When was the last time that you sat down, say, oh, Tracy back to one casa only panwa brabo? Subambia wo no dan edi, nie bia wo dan edi, enamphobia odi o show mu, political party bia odi nechi, religious leader bia odi nechi. If the fact that somebody is famous does not mean they know. Obu o magidi mpa o don bebre o kasa ni peti, eno nkyere se ne o kan ye no kro. Eno nkyere se ne o kan ye no kre. Into betimi nya nipa be tens of thousands no di nipa ba ko echi no nipa 10,000 in no to unfutro egomeni because they have refused to reason critically. They have refused to think beyond the normal. Ye fa bibia superficial. Again yen ka busianfo ya incident a see on say so okofa expert normal babel na or the enfa car cry example car enya accident if you're on a highway on a freeway, or maybe in the neighborhood. Accident this year, police officers, any ABI insurance for an ABI mobile on site, they look at few things. Okay, can a bone in chemu. Okay, a bone too. What was the speed limit over there? Okay, I can check in the brakes, cry a stop signs you all. Was it a complete stop? Not or share him, not on the phone, so they will analyze all those things, and most of the time they can tell us a kind a bone in chemu, maybe not or a TJ should be no or chasing baby na one year day. One share and a boom. And I see be a born to maybe or no not on share council until Otia break sometime and will be so the payment to. So they analyze all those kind of things, and most of the time, no, if they connect the dots together, or maybe be a issue ni free ba. So until no in pain, no, we refuse to ask ourselves the questions why, how, what happened. The more ubusa saying, then you are gradually leaving the realms of ignorance. Akane no, yimu bebre a na ye wo Ghana no, obon mpa si Nyankopon nche ne ka. Of everything. Otu akwa amanoni a, sampa ye ombobim. Why? Because he comes to know that there is a system where you can get a car even if you don't have money. You can get it on credit. This empire no ombobim. To ignorance chronic the way our your ignorance even shows in the way that you pray. See, most of the time we pray religious no, we pray, but we pray into emptiness. We pray into things that do not even exist. And most of the time politics, any religion, and a funny probably brainy, but they are refusing to think beyond the superficial no. Obon say na dey with the enye no krama minjin tum na menye den means ni. Let's take Ghana as an example. Accra Kumasi, Uya Accra, if you are the biggest city BMA or Kumasi. Of about if Ghana and your independence over 60 years. So a juma no yank or pension. Think about yeah, the nana no den ADD in the Japadian. But in our case, it's not the same. Over Accra Kumasi Highway, presidents upon presidents are back up. Whole lot of people are back up. See, incident is here in penny phone, some person before we be. A real block, a phone so watch it. So what do? We ignorance into Osro say obi betimi any BB. But if the roads are dual carriage or maybe triple lanes or 4 lanes, na cars nim bones and one. Critical thinking will let you know that it reduces the possibility of accidents, because cars ni enye den enhia tinimdie ebi you free sa ignorance no mu until the time where we realize that it's not a God from heaven who is going to solve our problems for us, and not politicians or religious leaders, but us. We will continue to walk in this misery. Bibi Kresia. Mami for when example not for me where cultural exams. Ya bon pa go pen so ama ana the cultural. One me say when she had there. So you should never be surprised about the results that you get when you did not put in the effort. Abra no be any abrisua there no na wada na wo di agro. Ti e be bon pa go pen so ama. O be ba for yesterday. Still you will fail because you refuse to reason critically. Say, exams na me person me pass ya. And then SME the maintenance na mission teacher ni trema dia SMT, and not just work with just quote unquote mere faith, which is not evident based, hoping that things will happen when you yourself, there is an aspect of you that you need to what do. Now we jai and no at now we say be free suraba na ba besisa ho shebre. It doesn't happen that way.
Yes. And I'm told Mr. Your friend Mr. Man said was when you get deep understanding astronomy and space science, you will question everything. You appreciate your roots. Yes. You know, the shed nyama a koswa yitimi tnasia liem question nyama they may ya cry. Sometimes to hear maybe whenever the third way become one semi fear culture, and I say fear of cases with witches and demons keep people stagnant.
Number one problem.
So instead of addressing real challenges, many spiritualize every problem, avoiding practical solutions. You see, this is the work. See a bad attack at the Nakasam. They say will be so on fast will be moon. A form so I was over. Last night I think we say yes, will be a catcher and say a Diana Bikunuti also go baby, or that if you are not be over to the Pradona. Or the Tony Pumano saying that Diana Kituan was a bone new year. And that's some I have to actually don't know. Oh, yes, spiritualizing everything. Everything just be beer in our life, no. You're spiritualizing. Be beer every problem. You see, many Ghanaians, we attribute personal, social, and economic challenges to spiritual cases. Spiritual cases. You see, I was saying there, I will come about generational cases,
generational ignorance instead of curse.
It's very, very true. Because family with the dear 50. It also expect 50 no be one person no. Say I be you come said the family with the 50 no. Instead of say because research nya hwe de ekoso no. Yenche. O ye family de sika pa de e bi ni ho. Na yesi ne yenwo. Enti no na sika wo fi pa na dis kan ko e na de koje na afi de yenwo by wuska. And e bi so de na ye wo bebre na sika ni o na dis kan ko. I mean, I was see kokoshe the we are ni tamani isa. Adwuma be na no parents and I na no ye betimi aboa ma adid krona koso no. You are spiritualizing everything in our lives. Just there's no even obi kra wu no adi 90 kra obi na ekunu. Na see madam for bi ne uncle wayare for some time. For some time wayare for more than so many years. You know, I know apart from that I was saying ni kakra. Wawu almost obi na ekunu. Just be bia obi na ekunu bi. Yes, just be bia. It yes ana ema sa ema hu ekan. It is a name bi wo say itimi ye kra na intimi nye. Poverty pa. Obi ti ho tenten kese abranti a wotin obi timi aye adwuma pa wo say efi de hia wo nti no konkoye adwuma. You see, you spiritualizes hard in intino. Because when you saw Kokoya, Nigerians or Kokoye, or dear baby, be a crown, and yet you want to start a Juman 1-2 pay until semikai. Even Obabu Chikrana. Ora, talking about all the people was in Crofone drill. Sliding doors was in Crofone drill. Yes, spiritualizing everything, which is very bad. And my young Koso. Ema poverty yet thing we crew misfortune ni blemu bi witchcraft everything just a post ni amasa microphone sa why I didn't need yes na because you spiritualizes na. I don't see any single thing why we dey obi ko kan say legend ko kan bi about say no akobi ni argument say we onim dey koso onim dey we asese ni we asete na dey obe kan say why. But if you really want to progress, we want to improve, this thing will not help us. It's about time we see it start to see it trust because esanana say won yusu wadwen ema won yusu wadwen won na wi odi 14 wuye wo papa di 14 wuye and who expect so di 40 abo and now the onye sa research no now we find out say e dey na ekoso because bibie no need the course bibie no even spiritual kra wo kra na we dey find the course no so na hwe dey ekoso. We see faith without work is void. Yes. Because sometimes what you want to say now sometimes no someone yet see you nim. You drew point be information be yet say. But because yet titi was hard name, especially when it comes to faith near dinner, yet titi was hard in be when you said see a call back crass in the look at these sometimes we want my team say well educated, we're really wide. What team say I simply want my especially when it comes to religion, when it comes to spirituality, they say the comment you will be making, you'll be surprised. You will be surprised. You'll be shocked. Say this person is making this comment. And so now make a big cry now. Okutapi we really kakra fine. We need be beauties at least we need be. But ya just ya clocky having to the stand say what they don't go there cry. But forgetting say, never be one my life. Oh, Bobra, a business now. Oh yeah. Yes, 80% of businesses the first year they go.
That's true.
After that, 20% now can. It will be 50%. It's a good the following year. It's a young one. So you might be the part of 80%. No, it's almost starting good, almost starting beam, almost starting good, almost starting beam, almost force you multimedia one. And yes, spiritual. By the when you did BBS, say a spirit in Kwana, in Fabi Bianco, we in Tiesana religious religious near said you now can leon. I'm not manipulation of them. He said there was a time who said a friend says will be Musawine or this meant part to a quibit yourself when I didn't also want fast meant no fun for people. Papa knew no this meant a co full people no the ababa was only 2 times 3 times. How? It is some self-proclaimed prophets no more exploited this fear. It is almost exploiting a man for almost gaining control. Said now can no more issue threats. I see crazy plain MC be afraid that can see a price have a shish on. It the everybody say this year for play the was here for. It is so bad. It's about time we have to start thinking well. We have to sometimes we don't who the obeka. Me whereby the name yakra so more bluetooth were really wide kakra. He knows what's up. And so no, when I can't be called Tiasie, and so when to me stopping a step from getting out from that box, say, oh, okay, we did and yes, spiritual name, and tries to beat me to find a solution to it. Into all the time near the end, I say, Nyama, you beat me finding answers to it, near brushing off. They said, you try say, or more yas, you brush it off this way. Your friend saying that plane incident next year and helicopter incident.
Yeah.
That is not the way to go about it. That is not at all. I will see a final what happened. Near to me, I prevented the next time they beat me. A DNC, a DNA man, near to me, I address that challenge. Near all the time, every problem is spiritual. Because there are some things that are practical. Also, who don't cry on because I do want my be crying obvious. Clear. And so since we will live in because we live in a spiritual world, and I say different kind of the BI system the can say BI spiritual in Sukran or Benoma spiritual. Into Buna Fay talk in Su free baby near no. Yeah, 2 way free way near the way, yeah, near the way, a whole lot of things. We are Yari. That time, last time, it's now was Hala in Sukra. One of Sunday, you see, while you're fasting, guy wasn't a bad. While you're fasting, for so many days. Just say, you didn't do hospital. Oh, we also, yes, a dry fasting was the same. These are some of the
Nino boy, we national service now. We school no national service no se nyame afre no. 40 days dry fasting. Suffer with on ye.
Now we Jesus. So your story now no. Your story no into fear of curses, which is demons keep people. Just am I baby journey to move on. Instead of say be address these challenges no. You are spiritualizing all problems. Bibia It's a main to you try say innovation near the dream because I don't know him say, oh, quite a great ye because I mean, you are not baby, oh, you say, baby, I didn't ye. Mammy, for me, but could be a cost the other one cost old, and be a cost no bay for sending me on checking the cost on whom son say minia, a dear now we be a ma ye, would the near Messi coson. We say, I had time. And or maybe a man, the war, me manona, a men and the muddy and the man coso. Meanwhile, to be crying out, women time is near be a business been why you know your museum. Nessa, need friend, oh, maybe cry, oh, yes, and Tessa. It also come back now, could trip. Bia, a friend say, a spiritual. Yeah, number 4.
Yeah, for both spiritual, you know. People who are very spiritual, they are never responsible for anything.
Yes.
People who are very spiritual, they are not the reason why something is happening. And Tina Timbia no ye wo excuses any nema bebre. Again, yeah, current mampeni otisi or mind Ghana yera President John Mahama or Bono Homoding in his best possible ability. Now, so at a incident is here, we realize that Omati, I think the committee BSA for prophecy and interfaith BB. And it's a unya prophecy bia. Almost in your down on this so for many about 200 prophecies. But then, so how do we practically? You are not more religious or even more spiritual than the Chinese. You're more religious or more spiritual than the Indian. You're very religious, but they are very productive too. Why? Because when say a honey dear, I saw in your but a banner sitting he living physically where he has control over time and space. No, a honey saw money in the DNA no timid ebony bra. In the spirit world, you don't control time and space. You don't control anything over there. And a spirit no crown. So because we forget that say baby AC or spirit mukran na sebeba physical na say funny pemuneba. So the depth of your knowledge.
Yeah, clear. Because yensua enkwachire and just say ye course university and as ye equiped you. So to say yensua niamano.
Yes.
You say the moment I become addition, you say was so quetch.
University
Yes,
say yensua say bia abrabo mu hunim de abode mu nyansape niama no yendo mo suko. Yeah, in bia no we quickly ascribe all these things to spiritual things, you know. But say nipa on Megire say Yakupon boy and all. Bibia here be our demand. Bibia here anything that it takes for you to live a great life on earth. No, we have it here. But if you are not reasoning critically, you will never be able to come to that full realization. Say, if you can, now a man for navigate sea without GPS.
Of course.
Yeah, Christopher Columbus more and navigate sea into so many places. No money. GPS. Me yes also say compass na no music na sophisticated and that omo the wind no kakra no omo de den omo de ko eno na kakra nipa so e build upon that knowledge as say ya ba benya GPS a ukọ ba bia oni okra wa ba address na shim na de ukọ enti senkaye eno no obi to obeka say 666
yeah
GPS obeka tro say 666 microchip obeka say 666 5G Ubeka says that should tell you the kind of level that we are when it comes to critical thinking and also logical reasoning. And then actually more asemsia abusuabu more esi also ema e omu di nyaware. Me ma me ko nyaware me na ko nyaware. Okay, when was the last time you sat down and you asked yourself say okay, me na bra about to say o mante man o timu. Penin bia no odi na chi no esua penin no nti e likely say na me nana no ebo bra basa basa o de wo ne ba no na ne ba ne sua no me so mesia sua sa e bra basa menim be ma ye ne kasa yi menim aduane ye me kasa anyhow kire mpanifo community and nti obi ampem asem could it be the reason why yɛbusua no ɛmaa no ɔmo ho ɛfɛ paa nti ɔmo nya awareɛ no ana critical reasoning, nothing to do with spiritual.
Yeah. They said they all can and I would say when it comes to that side now, those religious and yes hard and they fast and man you know. But when you look at it, say that kind of oh shit send your mouth see build upon some things na nyamana. Keka religion the way you see spiritual things now can't mean lose our honor. You know, so shit the first person now or can't read you cross him now. It did to jail.
Yes.
Can't be me use waves or just sound near, you know. Oh go jail. Oh, America, how it did to jail.
Yeah.
How dare you cross over Casasino? You know, those days, no. You know, these guys, your friends say, the Wright brothers.
Yeah, right.
How dare you so bit me be a man fly? How dare you? Okay, see, was they should burn in hell. They should burn in hell. Say, spiritual near man. They said, one new dream, not be a spiritual, you won't go anywhere. And that is what a dear high pass say. You attribute to be pure to spirit. Everything, just your life need be being anyway that I if you say near the cautious spirit, we say near the cautious spirit.
Yep, wrong beliefs, misinformed beliefs, wrong interpretation of certain beliefs. Oh yeah, okay. No ama yemu bebre ya say sika ya miss a lot of opportunities, all in the name of wrong beliefs. Wrong beliefs ne bi ni dem. Obu oho a o se obo mpa ise nyankopon ebe man iska. But let's look at the definition of money. What is money? Money is anything that is a legal tender that you use for exchange of goods or services. And until it's any value to offer. Mentonshi nasa me pisika, that it means there is something wrong with the way that I'm thinking. Yemu be especially sebi yinu money and we fall victims to this. Yes, bra na be so sidwe na mami bi Andra, I think some stop being a TikTok live. Single mother of 3 of a baby or so in Yesika, not the Nibu 12,000 Ghana cedis, 15,000, not in our bar for ye. Just say, ne won't children because I can't just be bar for Rena. Obedience. But these things, it should be free will. So, but and what but do they really explain what the meaning of that is literal interpretation of it. But if you go into the deep interpretation, prepare, like put in the effort. Some time to come, you will enjoy the fruit of your labor. But you be different. Obeka chose me who be a for ma no de bemamo. You need to be very critical about these things. Anytime where the belief system is trying to play on your emotional intelligence, I say, "Mama, feel emotional be." I say, "Oh, now you feel judged because na." I say, "What feeling judged?" All those kind of things. Oh, baby, not even as already them people, even our people, family, friends, they play that victim role. Now, mama feel sad. All those kind of things. So, own dream quite if you are not reasoning critically, some of the consequences you miss a lot of opportunities. Or baby, na betimi atena obebo ane pa no say ni sofo say baby enya no na Nyankopon ayi na ma no nti oware na enyi omo oware omo yemma nyina enye papa nti sa oba no eto so otwen nyame nyame be nyame nipa so na eye nti watena ho is 50 years when Timia look at the opportunity that she missed. Same thing for a young guy. Or say bian software and a spiritual father say, oh, business with means minye eduma memenda. Minye say. But when you go to Ghana, you look at these Lebanese people, the Indians, Malcolm, they open 24/7. People tend to forget that sometimes the middle class in Ghana, they shop mostly during the weekend. But weekend, what way you so sorry, and I say, oh, compare, but Monday and opportunity no. What way you know also work so seed open miracle money. O other counterpart no cry near Ghana ni no. Ono no anopa 5 a.m. Wa be sharp no. Ti by the time I won come bra no. Ni ebeto ni ato awie ntu ba betina ho beka se obi na eye o. Obi na eye o sunsun, then you keep giving your money to these scammers. Bon se na uje tire no crampo no. Ashe. Look at how shallow people can be because of wrong beliefs. You see a free will be sending, I mean send. Omoye oti so. Sika gari abako. Na busa ho say, and remember even the learned so busa ho say, sika gari no. Se nipa na we sika gari bit my sika gari. Ade no no anye ma no ho. Yema ho fa. Send na mean send or say for 200 cedis bra. Bring $200. Ubenye be 20,000 Ghana cedis. A day and now or this kind of year ultimately that percentage profit and that's a percentage gain. Let's look at what went on. Number one, of a fee, most learned people feel ashamed that they fell victim to number one. Because of a promise you say, she can hold the deposit here, ubenya ababe be 100% of a fee. Theoretically, what kind of investment onye bidao I won't just that within the first year or 6 months, even Amazon, Tesla, all these big companies, no, how many times in a year what gaining 100%, like wait me grow like 100%? No, even the stock market, yeah, what going to here find an example of above on the average, what is the percentage?
10.
Now ubia catch us a bit more 100% of it, or even sometimes even 50%. But I won't say critical thinking will ask you, okay, what thing is he going to use the money for? A bit me am on when and faso or no chess and fasoni be him. Ignorance. Because of ignorance about financial knowledge, you need to know. Or say, you know, the person played on your emotions. Nipa biya person, oh, onye eduma kese, but obenye ska bebre. Till they play on your emotions, wrong beliefs, then boom. No anyao. Till nipa bebre sika ashe. So my bad or mobile account. And last but not least, there are a lot of people, especially in this country, or in the belief system, they don't work on Saturday. You look it down anybody's belief system. But then come to think of it, what about no so on maybe on a Saturday or no so the AC nipanka? So what if that person I say I didn't say a best on Saturday in me and quiet my hospital now? What is going to happen? Chaos. Uber drivers are saying that maybe we will not work on a Saturday. And sometimes Saturdays are when the business is even booming. Sales are booming because I'm out for Bechele. But also could be a store because also you see MBA the Saturday and also no see MBA no Sunday. So all these things create minor loopholes that we lose a lot of money, especially in our businesses. Obia oye business no. Your friend say contract be a pie or see or yen pie but be or Baba sign contract. Are you serious? No. But no so any one chain or no. At the end of the or him find your friend or because I'm far away from you. Can you give me 5 minutes? I'll be there. No, I then was show up because when we say beyond the belief system, or saying sign here, you man NDD. So they wouldn't just believe blindly. So me share hini funny a friend me say a multi-million-dollar contract be a paya. I have to leave that premise and go because that is what I do for survivor. And you move brain, you know, to carry short, you move brain, you say or boy community and I say be or boy in your marriage, it's all about say be ojina asore ni mojina modem a preacher and all ye bibis and no bomba. No, that is a wrong belief system. The community, if I'm able to establish a job and even I'm working on a Sunday, and that Sunday, you know, I have to open the shop for people to come and buy stuff, for people to come and work. I'm creating job opportunity. Mejumano, Abia, SSA, Mitrima, I might lose maybe some of my weekends. I'm creating job for people in the community. Me teacher near, me I make sure that they are getting A's, they are passing. But don't let anybody impose some sort of like wrong teachings. Normally, to be a professor, but I say ehu bi ahye no mu ama small boys almost nyame from no. They are tossing these honorable men, honorable women around all
Around just like that.
religion, and it's very sad.
Yeah, very sad. Yeah. Sometimes, especially the old last year, sometimes me who say it be with that. Obi na no a utim say she say pa na ashenema because of those beliefs near there.
Yes.
These small boys, no, they won't be say, oh, so munya musana, so mukutao. Used to scare artists, when you see a base, who call men call, you see, I heard the next one, productivity versus prayer comes. Prayer is valuable, but excessive dependence on prayer without action weakens national productivity. You see, we share senior. Now make it statement the crowd about it. I've seen so many times a man for a job almost store a quack bompaye. No, we just store na movie. It buhana kakra na store ni ku. E ade ekosupa. So we share your community na Wednesday your prayer ayeko. Friday asana Sunday yakwa sorry. I don't know whether it say we person yes anya but to niema yi. To niema yi. You see, even one my prayer and Ankasakra no monte ase. There'll be the chaos bu a bompire or prayer no bo anyhow, but the just like that. It be crying and niema also near free prayer and cry kunya and also obo prayer in na. But at the end of the ma we juma ho na wakwa bompaye na wonim say e be quite to be too stone.
Yes.
No, utimi tum. Or two store no kwakwa bompaye. Unim say yes and who use customers because customers na they be omo ban oba 1 2 na say wafi wani a be your customer power so achire no most of come before because ana we cry obi cry on for cry because unim say the pan we ban no ni ho because you inconsistent. Now what to store no na the ya cry say sa hours na we dey kwakwa bompaye nko so the adwuma say iska kwai so say twa bibi sa prayer camp. Any scale crab be say triangle or so to Thomas goodies ni incentives ni almost add man or more winning as I can to you nay sani money sadini gua now was had a quackoshe yes specializing a ni mammy be or tea baby if so no the money na ekoso na say ni mammy side ni de mudi na enkoso was had a quackoshe. That is a nipa be briade a hano a yummy papa. Prayer comes, to say, you move be many Ghanaians they view prayer as the first and sometimes only resort until wait me up bompire say or bompire na sika free so na ba beto man. And yes, sanity. Bible now crack I was saying say near Jumani needy. And the sad part they say, what stories are the preaching this anime preaching now Proverbs. I'll be near those things, the encouragement. It's also with me a human is car. I was so progressive. I was so in once a whole in time preach on a see.
No.
A whole listeners in hope. Your home in preach work as in a home crying shouldn't read you because it won't be preached your can. You perceive these, you perceive behavior market. And we will be born paying throughout. This is a me feel say empire nkwa and go see a develop change so many nations because Ghana you bompire papa easy. A empire nkwa can ni China ni say komo size near ni say Japan can ni say komo size near. And so because say you had the if you say empire nkwa the last resort me kwa exams cry na me bompire instead of say at to pension kwa instead of say me suandi. You see, it doesn't work that way. When you have critical thinking, because we dream on partner, does it really make sense? Say also see the no the exams no. Now the what they bompire. Also what now store now be now Sunday be able to sorry. Now they want to store. Does it make sense? It doesn't. Enso ye de bia na ade kra science si obi to o si ko didi atem. Mo de wonim de ekoso. Mo sori a okasa any how. Enso owie no asa up to store no asa akọ na chi wa blame obi. Na even asofofo no kra na mo ye sad na mo ankrofo no ba mo kra. Mo kra, how do you guys feel? We are also that almost says man to collection, man to tighter anyway. It is having na sad. The pia near Bompire, Ubin Cassin Pie, or so Bompire, but they also yen, also ye. Because, hey, Ubitia Bompire, every thy kingdom come. Say if you don't follow a certain world or universal processor, it's a financial now pair, one follow financial process. Ubijnawa. Ebini say, also ye juma. Also ye juma. Why nye juma enye ye? Also pay bibi, also do say bibi. So why nya unko physical in free baby? Also drain. Also drain. Those are the things. And for opa changing location, opa ko baby. If you don't put these things together, sikanu nyebi. Yes, prayer is good, but it's not the solution to all our your friends say, or the answer to all your friends our problems. Because prayer, no action. You don't go anywhere. I was see judge those things no. Near started see a young yam a bit me anyway. See time. We say time and versus productivity. ABB and share that any way cry. You might have drink hole. And I would say the more old bumpire sana the BI side. That's avoidance of I can't say practical solutions. I was saying everybody was say practical. It will be free. Sorry them. Or bumpire. Or yari. I was what they call hospital. No. What they bumpire now also call hospital. But or sorry them. Na fi drew point be a if you need. What drew point be a video? I don't know. Make can be called the call be a 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Now can be a doctor's meet me at home. Instead of seeking medical care for a professional development, individual, you're trying for divine interventions. Yeah, yeah, now see your idea. Am I to extent sometimes go to the sense say, human rights say issues war.
Yes.
Yes. Because it means the sun never be mound, no man has anyone credit. This no. This no. But what me balance any money now? Ubianka semen kwesa, but also yes, any man crowd balance no. Say empire because empire would empire snuffy say empire be a year juma pana. Oh, baby, I will say here juma. It's a way I know what your friends a hospital and an empire and a coswa. It is a year juma, a bay juma. And they say you have to be there physically and son empire and a juma. Nice ignorance, no. You make sure say you share sadden. You know especially Wednesday, Friday, sometimes class Thursdays, almost a Thursday clinic. They make so many things. It's not storing. You see, I remember I heard a story be about this girl. MC Kunu send a boyfriend or person worrying or this kind of bring some funny business man or say or bumpire my guy. It was right not to stone. I am a stone. Guy is what bros cast for here, Juma. A stone gui because every day be your quack bumpire. Every day be Obi can say, yes, so point you want to be bumpire. And I would walk out to be bumpire, or tell to be bumpire. And so still quack here, man. So a be a hard dream. Will beat me away, but please, you make sure say ye who free sign your man.
More question be. You share airplane, you hear train, you hear car. At what point did somebody has to pray for the car to come to existence? Nyankopon a obo nipa a oye obo ade no. At what point did he have to pray for human beings to come? Or the Nesai he was productive. He was what? He was very productive. He had to put things together for it to come into being. again boils down to our we over spiritualizing everything. Mr. Menuka said, I said Jesus talked more about business than prayers. It's true. If you study the
Yeah,
Bible, the teachings are not entirely with finances, no, and
yeah.
productivity. It's more than it's more than salvation messages, no. And I say it's more than in Bible. Why? Because he knew that productivity is something that will make you stand out. There are so many people of Abefi Sebi on sun kremo on onisum biemu, but because success and then productivity works on a specific principle, no, the moment these people get the principle and they start operating within the principle, no, they will definitely get the success. Me ko Ghana na se mafa plane na me pilot no ye intoxicated a ye nyina nim ye besi. But the need that that's a plane in the BBI, you're okay, wind, everything, weather is fine. The possibility of us going there is assured. You say BBI bet me as by the buying nipa a standpoint no ma. What you must do it, and what the creator must do, leave it for the creator. I
Yeah,
don't
because
decide whether I wake up the following morning. And no
mm,
nenya me massive. Echina ade be china me massive. But echina niam ebia me wo mom bedi. Me wo niam ebia me iri bedi, niam abusua bedi, niam mo be hye no. Enye nyame asem. Wo. You have to figure it out.
yeah, because you see, let me say, man, you can say, very, very You see, he said Jesus talked more about money than grace and love put together. On the parables, no? Because when you look at the parables, almost everything is about money. Almost, not direct, indirectly. And even the scriptures and Kasakra, over 200 verses, 2,500 verses, and Kwa is about money and wealth. And so yes, spiritualize this money. You see, Bob Prater, yeah, no, can't say about prayer. See, in my brain, say prayer is the movement that takes place between spirit and form. And spirit and form. It's a communication. The car no na plane asem na walk a prayer a as we visualize say or say happen. Then you hold on to that. Now oh dream a crab fast wire. You are praying over that thing. Oh, I say back together. Those
Right.
two things. No? Those are the things that that's what prayer is. A form between the spirit and you. We all know how spirituality is. So that is how you hold on to that thing. Say it will come to pass for you. Then you pray. And focus. And yes, we pray. Say, we take action. That is how all these inventions about. I know sometimes we see prayer. We will see prayer in here, but I mean, from all the inventions, they talk about that, holding on to that prayer, that thing. Those that even don't believe in any religion, they pray, they hold on to that thing, whatever they try to see that form now, or say buy into light. Then, and call the next one. Mr.
Right.
Menu, that point, number education.
Yep. So we are catching for the education without reasoning. You go school no baba D near control quick retentive memory. So they will just cram and then no pass. And then we see it. There are a lot of people walking about with first class, second class, upper, but then they are not productive. Why? Because these same people no old school no call check no for befi just ni nyina e bi do for befi ya pon lectures na e bi call library no na ya put that part na boom. We are not saying it's bad, but were we even thinking about people who were living at independence war? Say independence on and about some, were we thinking about them? Upon lectures about they need to rest, they need to have maybe some leisure time or a CS or before. So were we thinking about these people? The number of hours that you spent over there, if you had done the same thing behind your books, you would have seen the difference. The emu bebree obu obo mpae Nyankopon di hwam da obo mpae sa wo ka kire obi se Nyankopon di hwam da na wa wo ka san o results by ni nyina what really are. How will the person believe you? So even as believers, as religious people, you should have the results. Let your results speak for you. The results must speak for you. Exams where di baba no ya kwa kochro on said anti ade na se nti obo so afi obi ni ne de dwuma de bi a hye ne nsa, but ontimi nye den. Ontimi ndi sa adwuma no. Sebi ye mpanifo ye buo mpa ye obi mo ho makosko akese but o de dwuma de hye ne nsa ontimi enye den, ontimi perform because we've been trained that we are not responsible for anything. And it's no sa back to me person me wini kra me gidi say me ko suman bi ho no di ye twa aboa na so that kind of thing. But about one so the majority is the one who is going to win. And who is the majority? The one who is doing their work well and knowing how to align with the voters. And a bad day, a baby. So we have so many people who are educated, but they are ignorant. Educated ignorance. One of the most dangerous places Nipa Opese Udu. Still be a professor or Kasa no the Ghana for I art to form. Or be a senior lecturer or Kasa or the Ghana for about to form. Or be a teacher ni or example be make it be an a brony example. And then we refuse to even legend HRD be started or say contextualization. So you can be so much educated, but then if you are not thinking critically, you establish a business or ABA, meme na nakrum. Nami na nakrum no, o si wakwa kusi banga, sa bang no, yes swipe uhia wo ABA uhia QR code, and sana wet media. Na me na network so for na well so how are they going to do it? How are they going to do it? And no son, obetumi aka say ma start business, but oh, if you're a kuro so grab if you was something na entimi engine. But maami bi wo or yesusu. Why yesusu for 30 years in Guya? Why? Because she's thinking practically and she knows that this is the kind of people that I have, and these are the things that they understand. And inti obetumi ako school, ako do university about PhD, but that does not mean it will make you think critically. You may be an expert in your field, but a babra bomuna one who are still na no small boys now my no yes scammers no most your prophet no and then we are seeing it in our country right now. In Penifon, they don't want to fly again. A formal swatch it is saying
almost fly.
Yeah, they don't want to fly again. When was the last time of a birth? You're setting up committees, say, okay, we're class school there on and yet on quality, yes, a member report to a presidency. But because it's about you, you want to find solution to it. So be a song fly. For the past 2 days, it's our match. But it's not funny. But I had to be honest, say the be yes, but voters no. We refuse that we have the power to make the change.
Yeah.
The reason why we refuse to make that change is because we are ignorant about the fact that we have the power.
Yeah. I say sometimes then I need to say the work can ignorance. That yeah. When before say yeah should be kakra bi wo ha. Em say your friend say Safu Kantanka and Richard Awuni omo year program be about September 26th. 25th actually it's certain Friday 26th September I'm said 25th and 26th
okay
me to hanwa Joe kasa na Mr. Manu me chao Joe me chao
correct
for befi so mo nyina ma ya de se mo koso na mo de nim de te se edeba na critical thinking ne de yen kyere se ne yadwene fitu mo frase pe no Mr. Befi na yama ye brem game na yeye. Na obi o ye brem game bi a oblemu nkrofo bia na adwen ne ntumi nya adwuma. Just say wohu tibia no how wopese ye bibi fi hu eno ne bema adwen no adwen akọ akiri na afa the solution aba. Se ade ne how na un take responsibility na un jintum se eye masede se meye na mmom no de akɔhwe obi nsa a ma adwen no nye den enye adwuma. Na ye ntete a omode tete ye ne nyina no niam mienu obonsam na eye o so hwe de obonsam na de ba wo so na nyankopɔn so na bibia no fasidama nyankopɔn watumi aye bibi mpo no ye mbo waba so ye si fasidama nyankopɔn. Enti nipa no nam ho nyina no si onim se yeyo no onyankopɔn na de ma anko yi a ye bonsam. Se ye ka kire nipa no saa ebe den se obedwene no wagye atum se me ma se ye de ni se abrabo ye se metoto ne ama. Enti emma na adwene no nwene nkwa akiri anu ne ye hawo ntete ne nye. Enti sane amobubo so se enti enya wanwa so ba kotena ho no ne ya ama no so bolo so no obenu enso nim se ya ka kire ne se efri nyankopɔ ho nom ne na brabo besesa nko ade ogitum obeye entete na enti se ye be sha se ye be dwene na ya dwen critically a this ye accept se me ye Ghanani how we me pese me ye bibi fa ho na me ye den na ma ya fa ho eno nko a na be ma wa dwene na sha sa ye adwuma apomoden no eye maseye de me sikasem eye maseye de ma brabo eye maseye de ankoyi a me na mantumi anye ne ye ma nya nimde bi ma nti bibia ase enti na mantumi anye ne ye anya bunsam bia se obi decide ne tu na adwene mu a eno na eboa eno na be ma nipa na hunu se ekwan ese me de ma obi a obutuma ye ese me check no na se wanye ne ye a me fa nkohye bunsam bi me bisa no na mahuni enti a wanye na matwe na so esa se wase de ese wakosua nim de ese otumi ya de otumi deliver wantumi deliver ese punish. So now so ye tete ni nyina koye osom no o kan so ye se ma yenka e ma ye ntumi ndwene adwene ntumi ndwene nti akwala na eba ni nyina no eden na ye ka kire no ewiase no ye hyebere nyame ammo se oba be yi ya wo ye den onye yi obi nyankopon ne dem ma enye obi na betuma ye yi nti abofra ni nyina no e ma adwene ntumi ndwen okwa ofa ha de note ne ote a ne se bibi to na ye bonsam ote hwe ye bonsam ono munsa na ye bonsam se bibi koyi a nyame ne de ama no nti uba ye manmu a nipa kakre bi pe na tumi ehunu a mutumi dwene a mutumi ye bribi dodo na no yetumi nwene na ohawo na ama ye ntumi nwene ye ntete ye no ene ne sen ye ngiso bo nto ye ho se ade na sese me na me na mabrabo na nkoyi a ye me a na manye de mantoto ne ma ye na mum no ye hunu se ye nyame na be ya man nti se wo no wantumi anya a ekese obunsam bi na wabrabo na mbo ne ye ene ehunu se ya brabo ne ye se ukwa asore da oni kristoni wadware wakotena ho ye kobi wakobi eku ahuro wo mu odwane anopa uginem enum ne ye disisi gina yo ye se obi ye papa nti nipa no ko ware no bisansa adenti no ko ware se wei oba asore pa o enye so tumi dwene o na mom no anopa wa enwumre oba adenti na ye se udi nipa we mini ne kwa asore nti ode dwuma na hyenza nti ye decision ya ye di make nyina ye osom no ye di enu na esi gina ye nipa mini ne kwa asore mini ne yesi mini ne wo hoi nti na adwuma no so wo hu nimde oni hu nimde emfa ne ho adwene ntumi nwene nti se ya adwene ye be start se ya adwene critically a di se ye hu ye hawo no ne hu se ye hawo ni no hawo no ye mase ye de se me na me ye se ugituma eno na be ma wadwene yie na o dwene no na the solution se ba o dwene na the solution ba kakra akrobon say transformation be take place until then the be yes it is na mo ken hwe se ade akosi ni akote se de ye gba hwehwe brem adwene nye papa no automatic go hu se adwene no nye adenti na odwene saa bro be petu me no ye de nsa ko gu ni so no tenka se nyame bi na ma na eden wa wi ni power no enti se na bibi ato na e se o sa akodan nyame ho adwen no enye papa it means a problem bro it means a problem enti ye how ne de e ntete na e kokko wie ntete no motete no e na ma ye manfo no dwene saa enti so ye obi a oti o ma se bo se enfiri wom ntete na enye aha nti mofrase na yɛde ne kɔ asɔre ebi wɔ korɔ nkɔkorɔ yɛ bo asɔre na wankɔkorɔ yɛ wundidi wopompo sɛ yɛde hyɛ wo kɔn nyɛ sɛ wo na wopo ba yɛnhu anu sɛ no yɛ child abuse ɛno no yɛnhu because abofra no wopompo wankɔ saa asɔre na wundidi yɛbɛbo yɛbɛru bɛfa kwan bɔne so adentira obi a ɛkɔ na wompɛ sɛ wobɛkɔ so enti ne ama yɛntumi nwene na no ɛne ne sɛ yɛnya right sɛ ne yɛdwene nsɛm ho na wohunu sɛ ade wei no ɛsɛ wɔtena se ɛsɛ osusu ho wobɛsi gyinaeɛ a wei na ɛsɛ sɛ wohwɛ wei na ɛsɛ sɛ wode w'ani hunu sɛnea ɛsɛ wodwene nie na ɔkwan a ɛsɛ wofa so de yɛ ni sɛ woyɛ no anyɛ yie ɛyɛ wo na wantumi andwene yie wo na wantumi anya akadeɛ no yie saa berɛ biom yɛnyɛ ne saa nti ɛno wa ne yɛ haw no asom no wokɔka nso a no wanya problem ɛyɛ problem wɔ ma wɔ mu ɛno yɛ big problem because deɛ ɔmo te da radio so TV Ghana TV bɛbi ɛnɛ ahomakye a ɛne okasetofo dɛ kɔkɔ so every radio station ɔmu yɛ dede ahomakye o de wo sɛ kɔfa radio na hwehwɛ wo sɛ ade bɛkye nti always no deɛ nipa ne te no ɛno a no mu di akyire waso radio ahomakye ɛno na ɔte ade akye obete ewe obete wante no kotie sports apart from sports ya be dede ya be brain game wo so no yese nso mo so ma ba yese me wo ho kwan ene no na wo kasa se ada na ene me kasa na wo ho ye bremu ye ho saa obi no obagi subu atum se ma anye ne yie nti ma anye ne yie no die na sese ehwe kwan ye beden ya ye ne yie okwan be na ese fa so wan na sese etwe na so na nye nsa na ho ma obi ye nye ne saa nti Mr. Ben sɛ ɛbɛhyɛ saa adwene yie deɛ sɛ yɛteteɛ na ɛsɛ yɛsesa no na yɛakyerɛ sɛ ne yɛadwene na program wei na ɛbɛtumi aboa ama yɛadwene no tumi ahyɛpte na tumi aboa ama yɛaboa yɛ nuanom na yɛtumi akyekyere yɛ man Ghana ne Africa ntabɛfi.
Thank you.
Thank you. Na your friend saying, Mr. Ben so seminar, end of month seminar no so Baso 31st. And you register na in darling in join it. Mr. Manu.
Boss.
Michelle. One you been here, Mona. Anyway,
where did they? I brought your many away because maybe the Ekika corner, you know, because a presidency, a soro. Be any show, but okay, decisions are man for take here. There was a and then we are bold so wait me lead a country up. Ye left gold ne oil ne cocoa ne diamond, no bet me the anymore. Also now only the way in our show on Sana. Air Force and Majina one can say be your record ni. Ye saying ye see ye plane no fort what money tama but because I want it. Okay. Time you plane it 2 year ni the entire referee radar so accident no send your course here yentimia ma your command wo kumase and Russian ko say mo amfa any technical bia ma politicians am obegina ho na obia pese play card no ministry to the citizen you know na you can say in front no nye na ye nyina ye nsu we abana ya say ya mum ya hwehwe sa de afi de mo de aba be hye asofo na multi committee say obi nya prophecy on family mu na ekro no ye rule with prophecy and I say
you will it.
yeah. And so that tells us say yeah, were big problem when sometimes I mean so being car before say be or kind of likely, but ultimately say yeah cut deep into dates be because me compare Bible at a point Radima Israel for no eka desert for 40 years because on per se or the weak people ebe ko land awachire
Yeah.
and osama almost a konkwasumu ema tama Joseph eko ka Egypt mu omo say me pese sa generation we nyina omo ase hye na me raise a generation na me di omo call baby a me pe na when I instruct them on be follow right now no say near Ghana no generations we have to wipe out now new generation be na betimi apeke Ghana ye when I see a name e koso na because it is our generation that person omo be pick Ghana no omo Ghana it di baby we say no we have to teach them now you force you omo who say the yen ya yeni nyina no e wrong and the atire nyina no nye nti also mutu the atire mu nyina no gu na yen ya nyina ya hye because at the we are talking about maybe 50 to 100 years any bit me reform for them to get that right and that 50 to 100 years no you move be fade out but we have to get them the information on we bit me move Ghana forward Oshe prayer is just a communication with the divine. So why do you have to go sit somebody now obedient child? No what will be with Juma now over bomb now obesusu di wabra always our time now. Oh di kwakoko and Oshe these guys almost so a prophet and then you took up like obi okwa bujina o hwe ni age saying what no onyame a damn put any penny name or Bible more or no Baba be catch or say or tifro onyame ho e be catch then now me share a astrophysicist way na me share about how the astronomy in the universe no near there na me share the send universe keep expanding now we have fun the amount for the mysteries of space now here yes even the earth we create away and nothing now obi tun be catch us say or tifri say nipa or boss animal when even it will take about 1.3 million earth size to fit in the sun now baby even Emma from Kakrampo machine and then father away cry Emma code into so if Sani power to me and I say divine constrict Sani ma way no o Sani power wait free ni ho no be catch me say ya me ma bra about it now me sometimes it be time I say there have to be a perfect reason here a radima me be P free Ghana Ashanti region offensive to terrain the entire won't be free ho because senior university no be anywhere a down because how can the earth rotating on axis intimate shifting kakrampo yin lifting BBI is so precision even Oshe your life how a human beings are formed and more even animal kingdom Oshe say BBI is so perfect so at the end again nipa say who believe say onyame say wabo say ne say so now intimate drain then we have obianim the Ghana potential and name a bit me aye. Obi say you way na ade no me question busa say so ade na ye ntimi nye. Then that is where who say teaching side dia bra yen any nkrofo mu di animu how ya say ya dwene free say you say ke fa ho. And the topic we are about teaching, also and me by me see me call work, but be start here and no. I have to sit down. The topic we be you know it was out nice about the echo because and niema be you have two niema be gu ye ni so dodo. And we have to be radical. That doesn't mean say you don't nyame and I say believe say nyame wo ho. But enable we share in such a way say and yes fasting no any prayer no any sorry them what na how many hours no any be change any situation. What doing any the onyame dey amount made any ameni oti way. My year studies over 2 hours about goat feed because who be from and I'm saying make my incorporate way my business. And you have to learn and get that material no and add it to the mission. It so what you order you wouldn't say here. How long now because access free amount for now obi chiro say a business, a trading, and then I make a quote you say Bible no shame. Jesus talked about principles of sowing and reaping.
Yeah.
Business. You my talent. On my way, the sky way, or anyway, I remember say, this man he didn't even talk about prayer. There's only one chapter or any or talking about prayer.
Yeah.
Everything was about ordinary life. We are farmers, we are fishermen, we say. It only say the environment now will provide the biama. I also would it I was all now when you come now now here the also with the free move. How can and then it is a and your airwaves no ever Ghana and have to be sanitized. We need leaders who are bold because me we I was here the nice when you can say yeah. Now I was looking at Namibia. Also on the Botswana and other country, right now, no more revoking US visas, no more pamo say it was almost more apply. The year woman almost pay with the same thing. And right now, no person open African border. Oh, yeah, African up so about freely come. Right now, Sahel so almost Swahibi, any Pamians are Burkina anyway, Mali anyway, and Swahibi.
Yeah.
It's about time, ye GA who near GA did. Near who say no, we can do it. Studies here when the chairman me started looking at this astrophysicist and name of was when Asante Hilebanu graduate school so astrology so be US now the bini Ghana but me share a name a confusion am say hey akoya peki ade a madwene kura ma ho so I have to read a little bit about it. Now me started say me reading no and I'm say oh ye nimu hwe your point of reference enyina be Bible any Quran even ye nananom kra ne atu omegu any ye bibia be it is the it's a nipa no so say it Bible no anka na obi su gina ho no the Old Testament na kan bibi and a prophet bi can say na ye penny for na panic na we leaders on betimi de akwa
no
me say Ghana ye two plane yes and I'm say yeah open right now no obia Burkina Faso make my boy flat. I'm telling you.
Yeah, that is true. That is very true.
Me intelligence wa hin right now this one can be na be na omu dig no ma be omu che omu call evidence ni no ma say jail. I'm saying how do you go pick somebody while money solid cuz
yes
it's crazy. And our young people, the focus on DSTV right now. No, foreign company be Ghana be and put it on one price I pay. No, they are charging Ghanaians.
yeah
MTN charging the pay. DSTV charging the pay. Ubia yet the pay ukronimu. Where are your leaders? We have to stand up and change. So me problem I say a whole generation have to wipe out. Not a new set of generation beba. Mukuta mindset that you be push yama almost say a chrono they have to stand say chrono yomudia no more fight ya di chrono sigo no more yes I the Kasa be cost for 200 300 400 I'm out for slave for 400 years they haven't seen anything.
Mr. Now can
You
it true
know,
because Oko schools in that mindset and one feed you. Yeah, over 30 million each and every day schools in the ama in Kofunti meaning and one almost had them all and one exercise.
And
And
upon
almost boss me saying,
education.
oh, minority now, almost dream on almost nkwasasɛm no nsɛmhunu no majority na everyday adeɛ kye adeɛ sa school ni produce asɔre ni produce yɛsi school dan yɛsi nti sɛ na bible no a woka sɛ nneɛma bebree kyerɛ adwuma yi nipa nankasa no yɛdi ka ka kyerɛ sɛ wo nankasa no wone honhom a wontumi nteɛ no no ase yɛde ɛno no abiti nti Abraham na ɔbɛkasa Abraham wɔ mma ɔwɔ mpɔnkye ɔwɔ nwan no yɛnkyerɛ w'ano o yɛbɛka
Yeah.
sɛ ɛno no deɛ dabi yɛnka nkyerɛ wo yɛse ɛno no wohia divine bi wohia honhom bi na ma watew ɛnu na ɛnu wɔ so nti wonni saa tumi no wohu neɛ yɛaka kyerɛ ne bɛ nti ɛnyɛ wɔn sɛ obi bɛkɔ school na adwene mu dɔ nanso obi bɛka sɛ nyame afrɛ no onim ne left and right ɛsɛ obɛma no akwankyerɛ wurɔ ho bɛworɔ no ho na wotumi hu paa sɛ owurɔ ho ne na then no nipa no ayɛ saa ɛno wotumi sɛ
well,
ɛfiri teachings na
but
teachings na
The problem.
yenya this opportunity. Yes, yetimi enye radio ne TV pɛ ne timi kasa kyerɛ yɛn. Right now, no, biara na Mr. Obin so abie
Yeah.
platform Mr. Kankam ne Mr. Belfi nso so abie bia yɛ educate no. Nti no, sɛ utumi touch nipa baako a enye ɔno pɛ no attach no.
Yeah.
Ɔno so bɛkɔ akɔ multiply. So a pressure any deɛ wɔsi keep just any sɛ yɛ ma yaba mu bu to give the yesua no to other people. No, you say mistakes are yɛ so mo follow and answer who course we are wow saying that was a to us na not at the point enemy no minute now Mr. Obi only crano min kaza ko obi a be say 1,000 people almost follow no omo nyina adwene asesa based on the need nim fa Ghana ho nti no ade no de nim de no nya baako a na wonya the two udan the two a eye den a ebe so aba and ye na make say yeah, can say 2 years, 3 years. It will take time.
Yeah.
And the more I echo, we will have a lot of people.
Yeah.
So these type of because I come to a point say now, no, I know say I'm out for it was to be an but if I be bring so who say no, I saw for the azan.
Oh yeah. Still be brave.
Hey, they say be near beer, but say and go for omuji esikedi omu na man for so start attack you one asofo no ntimi nya hwe nti omu say power na mo so mo no mu ni power no mpo because say nipa na attack you na mu ntimi nku mo no mu ntimi nya hwe that means the mo kan nyina no scam bi na mo ye yen na
Yes.
mo now no ode share balum ni ade start poki ho ni ade and it's can Japan start on the TV station ebi no de kura guye and I grad I'm saying to me actually money ade so time is coming up almost soon and they will face it.
Yep. I think Omeki statement be a very profound. Say sanitize your airways, and then even beyond that, in the social media, and also Oko China, the kind of the Oko social media you see alpha TikToker, Ghana now be a TikToker. First, likely so be who you say be a man for a more diom one time, and I say comedy be maybe about more wrong, but Oko China. Their version of TikTok, they don't see those things because they have intentionally decided, as a China for what they are currently doing, they're able to train several hundred thousands of engineers in a year. And it's not like normal engineers or mere normal engineering or building AI. They can construct like complex bridges within about 6 months. I say be a bridge ABC about but penny be net nasi I know in the next 50 years the world is going to become very competitive. And my main shed that intentionally. I mean, China for you home say Mr. They were also very religious.
I know.
Let me say West Africa, very religious, like very religious people. But it took certain leaders and the mom do baby or madrid say near even UAE. UAE now I'm reading about Namus and Ghana about 50 years ago. Ghana was better than
that
UAE,
place.
way better than UAE, but it took leadership. And I transform Dubai. Yina Ghana will be a person or Dubai. Elko your friend is saying vacation.
Vacation.
I see a pilgrimage. Look at Ghana and Cremofood Maka. People don't even see it from the standpoint say Maka na okono. Likely say currency no obesisano.
Yep.
Automatically we economics and business now say their economy will boom because you are going to book hotels over there, restaurants. Yep. So look at the number of people who will come there, the whole world. Say, Mr. Menu, yes, say, you're being critical, na say, nyame bakuna. And the other thing I so pilgrimage, you know, I feel way the can cremo for we are seeing na yenka say, Ghana. Because the creator is omnipresent. The same thing for believers. Who person will call Israel. Obi kura kofa ebo free Israel said the Bible foundation yes. Na Israel for and so everybody some about pilgrimage. Recently, their issue that they are having with this other country,
Palestine.
they were not praying, they were fighting, firing missiles.
Yep.
And they didn't have to sit down and pray for the missile. Mr. Menu, last Friday I was mesmerized. Yes, lab never I intend opportunity until one time. Call Friday. It was supposed to be a 30-minute session, but me catch or more moody can remember later. So I went the next session. Guy no. Now, if I look at the guy near my all can eba abrabomu say na fine me doesn't know a lot, but that area no.
Yep.
The way they will model, say be a vaccine, be a medication, the way they will model it. I spent one over there. You do baby no can na mint you. Na me she din na me say me call take me a chemistry. I can't say a quarter of what he's saying. Not because ABH and Camille, but yeah, students no. Can you imagine that students came together, contributed, collected funds, and built a very huge chapel? But yes, same students never because school need any facilities. Now see
chapel the
chapel. What is preventing us saying students na kibit me this carbon say be a lab chemical we ni ya kikas carbon ni akoto device we ni ha ya kikas carbon because you use na ni ha you nua no mo di echom beba no also going to use it.
So I don't know.
It was
and the government
government
about church there the case but say the besua man aboy into one there and no there
government government
said Mr. Menu can was here sanitize yes
once every in 7 of most of no the intermo train no say message no de ma a phone phone or to me cast me ba I said the cross will be walk across me ba I do we me ba be yam
yeah, but for the past elections the past election no what you say amount for buafu say within a short time we be say 6 to 7 months
right
amount for holding NDC for no accountable for what they said. First now kebet na ho maybe 2 years 3 years na ye say obeya na say onye but they say no kai na no especially over the okafa cocoa for the one also be almost 60 to 70% of world market price no 9,000 at that time na I talk about 3,000 it was almost expected about 6,000 also after the to so 128 cities and I'm saying no what are they votes now the obeka na they to abama o yen cocoa farmers no what are they afei na mobile be explain say na enti sa na sika bi na den no say no Then the other catcher is over my 60% of a world market price, which was 9,000.
Yeah.
And now you expect to sell two, so no, at least my 6,000 cedis per bag. But to the buy, no, the 128 pen out to 3,000. So now the who's about that, and farmers thing in Edgar. A first now normal.
The reason is dollar na drop here about 10.
And then but you need dollar with the space. Can they calculate what city? Would them make cities last? And all I'm saying is a first now. And Rebecca say, you know, be a explanation of a man. Can you be found the trust and a farmers now you're okay. But as they say, no, people are holding people accountable.
Yes.
They're okay. And that is how it's supposed to be. The fact, oh yeah, yes, you do see or minus one. You are to serve us. We are not to serve you. I don't know who won't see no. Yen you say brabedi anymore. Any ubibia is paid for from ye taxes in my day amount. And you would share you. It do okay say, and when we came and we spend this and you will seek out yen Ghana and Yesika.
Yes.
And I will share so and I will the year. So I'm saying admit. You know what man will be a Yesika. I was so chilly to it was so we are Yesika. It was so free to know so we are saying to say you accountability no near and any assembly. So we ba no atena sideline because or no offer bi share ni bottom you know o timi force we man nya adepa na omu banta already so say na can we be can we can makoshia no modidi 4 years about not the same people no masaba. We have to clear all these people out of the way.
Yeah, we don't have.
And they are grooming omu yero no masaba nipa omu groom omu show mase to correct or no free snow call retirement na sa microphone no or just free room go it no or atro no the year no the omu so asise ho no one microphone no push omu. We have a fight. We have a big fight on our hands.
We have a fight. Critical thinking is a fight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's a fight because Mami Busa question. I'll say, how can Ghana's education system be reformed to prioritize critical thinking and problem solving skills? And to say a bit dear who fully dear because I never knew say a curriculum no crown. Let me say some foreign initiatives be crown be almost sponsor into and people did some research no who say textbooks are more friendly use no crown side information no. And no correct. We had somebody who was an education minister what's na Chroma Pain. Man, who's STEM education, but I don't know what will make leaders of a nation politicize their education system. But education, why? Why would you want to politicize education?
Continuity. And I can say, acquire Sika. And you're loyal to me, regardless. Say I didn't you say you know. Oma fa Ghana say omu cash cow and omu nya besiwa de omu pese omu yebia no metimi de Ghana here. But what I see is say yen enipa no yen demand enough from them. If we put them, they need to come back to say you need me right, you want him there. It would be able sound because you need to say you see what's a brother sumu ya. One was saying Republicans called town hall meeting.
Yes.
I didn't hear. I'm not for sorry say most say a democracy and you're saying it here. You see who that's a representing, but you'll be bidding, and we don't want it. Until they say who they are, you be more ballot papers. And now, immediately, on any kasa, then be convincing him because you who the echoes of the aquana be can be no mudi sunamo ye. And then now represent you. So, the same thing with the Chrome say, and you more be position now so honorable. So, why ye be that, so ye be that, so ye then. Now all respective will be to a said, but on him say, so Baba say with the citizen. It's your no or to me your money. So I said, yeah, it's your mom who say, hey, Moba some of us say, we ya. No, ye sorry, Jinawa. That is when that. Because you're sorry, Jinawa enough. Me person me person me can't anymore baby but you're sorry demanding enough because
Enough. Yeah.
99.9% of your water bodies are saying I'm saying from the same people. No mu ye obi ani wo hwe me ma Chinese ni visa e ma ne Ghana. Why ne ma omu visa ma omu ba Ghana. Omu walk through your airport no omu ba. Omu mfa wurem no omu ba. Machines I need to and I'm your port and eba. Why need the any more machines neighbor? Me ma forest reserves no and yame na me hwe so. Wo aban no na wo hwe so. Eye den na forest reserves no omu say no. Yen suo no nti unhu ya yen kan kire wo. Again na mo ya afa ho. So you telling me say for the past 20 years. So for how long and yen tina ho? Yen demanding enough. It you take care for anything. So just say a crassy basic. If you the only target and say a be create employment. Not any hono, ni it's not more so ni it's a nunt other than one for no one campaign say me ba be ye no ana ya be say kuro no be any adwuma. So catch say me be ye be teacher forest no be to be na ye say kuro no obi any adwuma. Say ke be hu say na wo dwene. But behind the scenes because they trace your military and they guided some of these forest reserves. Your police for and they escort it. Chop a year away. We know say every week a fly call some place or a could load gold twice a week. Then the gold ounce cry ASN world market. Now you left the pounds. Ghana you gold no yeah say in the womb. At the end the gold aye. At the end the cocoa aye. At the end the lie. Eti sa enema we a topic here ka about critical thinking we nyina no at omo I believe say Ghana for yadwini swa ene hwa na yadwini wo enti ombe ma ye stay sa side ho no behind the scenes no ma ye di o be ye but e was say bia manfo ani and it will come revolt be brave by a manfo use Telegram Turkey ebisi ho. Oh yeah. A mouthful started kind. A mouthful started kind. Ma ekasai. Also, I feel so be shut internet because when we say any power. Yeah. You try Nema power, but you know, a mouthful started kind said, oh, and then Ghana is it's about I'm robbing that Ghana ye manufacture too. By M16 or Ghana, any AR-15. Any issue American soldiers, any training. And a boo Ghana. Now no see obi di bi to the social media face. No man coach no. And I'm saying I'm watching no. Or the tray say enkofo bi na yi. Ade na mo ko hwe baby a omo kuta tuo no mom. Na mo ache de ono mom de be to social media no so.
Right.
It mean na me kuta tuo na say afre me de me ho be sie. So anyama we nyina we system ni mo. Omo ani nko. I think say emfa omo. It's all about making money.
Yeah, it's all about making money.
It's about making money. And Ghana we are here so you know, religion, breaking it down. I mean, I soft. I am rare. My own say that can my own to be drink.
Amount to mean drink.
And drink.
As I think those are the dying end of it. Yes, me no on crabby brobo I am in your within common. I think those are the dying end of it. Young ones, those in middle school, high school, no, they are in a state of confusion.
Yep.
yeah, they are in a state of confusion. Be I say, I sorry no, or could be because the man say they are in that state of confusion. So sometimes when a boy me kwash na me hu nkran, I say otiwo but ontiwo. Yeah, they are confused with what is going on and the reality.
Hello.
Yeah, over
I'm so Kwesiko.
Moa. Joe Neko. Joe.
Me who Kwesi.
I was more live on Zoom.
Oh, Kwesi.
Yeah, Moa.
I think that time now you
hey, yeah.
I don't know. Say, love see.
Yeah, I say.
Moa.
I think some Kolano who say Omo parents no devoted was sorry, but Omo who results the Woma Brabo.
Yeah.
And you know, Omo who say, hey papa, you know, and you know how they are sorry, you be crazy. Near Niaje, na Saturday and Kolano I hyper, but the drew Monday, Tuesday na ope ebia bibi kakra bi ofia o de ne call shop out ofa ne unto the best emano.
Yeah.
Okosko ohu ne namfo mo nkwa sorry no omu share the best or say Jordan or say they wear the best, they eat the best, they always have things. Or yeah, kola or those person onya things. You know, I have some friends omu background na omu for omu nko baba shop. Na me say chale oye adwuma eti abuche.
Baba shop.
Baba boy unfa ne nko baba shop e u na wa chi akwara na wutwa ne tinu wo ade wutwa ne wa ya akwara tinu say wu ukra na wo ya eti akwara ne ko school na yesre no na ohu se ne maame ne papa sa ya adwuma na Sunday bi asesa atwe na kosi asori dem a na ohu results bi a omu a o ti asori dem a fo se de no odwen emfa no kura unya me no emfa no kura so and it's crazy. Kaya go from Wabruchia. Saturday, yeah, the free Ghana. The show Mumu Krum High. And if you would dear, a woman Yamisum. And Uti Krumasia, oh, I prefer no more, Jumafe. Send no more commanding him. Babro Munimiame. O Munimiame. And you know, and you wonder, say, it's Yantitiano. High. So we have to win our kids and give the younger generation, you know, some form of educational,
Right.
you know, no kremu, papemu, odo, but it was a weird, it was a weird. And ma obimbe can be being when you say, you know, heaven, I will now do heaven, and again, then it's our concept, you know, yeah.
All right.
Boss, yeah, sectors need your problem, but for me, the final word I mean, say, I will say sanitize your system, no more. Now, generation bano, you reform your
Right.
one way or the other, because if you know one found Colabian in the school, it's almost the two ababa show mu kokum mu gidi omunya
Yeah.
So we bet me train akola ne papa mu free dey dey ahye no so of say and send me so be train and say who say me medi ye wo me farm oba me kire kwan e wo so fa so say hard work any adwin papa ne niam e wo say we ye and be ma this ye deal we be bro. You know, and monitors who could scan out who command everything commanding the puppy. And then despite cast of friend nipa be say no can and somebody can actually more. Can you pass anybody despite it? Maybe yeah, aspire to get there, we'll get a lot to follow us. Scanning baby, yeah, mama for Sunday. Thank you, sir. that was
All right, but let me that's it. Okay. All right. Bye.
Above you, okay.